Imagine waking up on a dirt floor. Strangers are holding you down. There's a stone tool in someone's hand, and they're about to drill a hole into your skull. No anesthesia. No anesthesia. No mercy. Sounds like torture, right? But for thousands of years across continents and cultures, people did this on purpose. This is the dark, unbelievable history of trepanation, the ancient practice of drilling holes in human skulls. Trepanation, also called trepanation or trepanation, is the process of cutting or drilling a hole into the human skull. It's one of the oldest known surgical procedures in human history, dating back as far as 7,000 years. But here's what makes it even stranger. It wasn't always fatal. In fact, many people survived the operation. Their skulls show signs of healing and sometimes multiple holes. So, why did ancient people do this? And what does it say about the mindsets, medicine, and mysteries of the past? The earliest evidence comes from Neolithic burial sites in modern-day France, Peru, Russia, and Sudan. In one Peruvian skull, archaeologists found 7 trepanation holes, and the person had lived through most of them. This wasn't a one-time experiment, it was a global phenomenon. Civilizations separated by oceans all practiced it, without ever meeting. That means trepanation wasn't a fluke, it was a widespread belief. But what were they trying to cure? No written records exist from the Neolithic period, so archaeologists can only speculate. Here are the leading theories. To treat head injuries, many trepan skulls show signs of trauma. Blows to the head from battle or accidents. Drilling into the skull may have relieved pressure from bleeding or swelling. To cure mental illness or seizures, some cultures believed evil spirits lived inside the head. A hole would allow them to escape. In this sense, trepanation was part exorcism, part surgery, to alter consciousness. Some modern practitioners claim that trepanation boosts mental clarity or spirituality. It's possible ancient shamans believed the same. Ritual or status. Multiple healed holes may indicate ritual status or even a badge of honor. These people weren't victims. They were initiates. Tools were primitive but shockingly effective. Stone knives, obsidian flakes, flint scrapers, even seashelled in some coastal societies. There were several techniques. Scraping slowly, grinding away bone until a hole formed. Drilling, boring into the skull in a circular motion. Cutting, carving squares or rectangles like a trap. The fact that so many skulls show signs of healing means they had knowledge of anatomy, restraint, and some form of aftercare. In short, ancient people may have been far more advanced and careful than we often give them credit for. Peru has some of the highest concentrations of trepan skulls, particularly among the Inca and their predecessors. Success rates in Inca skulls have been estimated at over 80%, far exceeding European battlefield surgeries centuries later. In ancient Greece, the physician Hippocrates described trepanation to treat head trauma in his medical texts. In medieval Europe, trepanation was used to treat epilepsy, insanity, and skull fracture. And in Africa, evidence from Kenya and Uganda suggests long-standing surgical traditions using metal tools. It wasn't just an isolated practice. It was part of humanity's early attempts to understand the mind and intervene in sickness. In the 20th century, scientists began seriously studying ancient skulls with trepanation marks. Some tried to recreate the surgeries with replica tools, and found that the process, while brutal, was possible with enough time and care. Others began analyzing how the placement of holes related to symptoms, injuries, and even brain function. Trepanation is now viewed not as barbaric, but as a surprisingly sophisticated and universal response to pain, mystery, and mortality. You'd think this practice ended in the Middle Ages, but incredibly, modern trepanation still exists. In the 1960s and 70s, countercultural figures in Europe and the US drilled their own skulls, claiming it elevated their consciousness. Some called it brain-blood vellum theory, others just madness. Even today, a handful of people advocate for it, but most medical experts warn. There is no proven benefit, and it's incredibly dangerous. Still, the mythos of trepanation lives on. As a bridge between medicine and mysticism, why did ancient people drill into their skulls? Maybe to heal, maybe to purge demons, maybe to find enlightenment. Whatever the reason, they were trying to survive, to understand, and to control the uncontrollable, and in a strange, haunting way, they succeeded. The bones are still with us, and they tell a story carved, literally, into the skulls of our ancestors.